Hi, this is Paul Kinkowski with the Systems Conference. I'm here with Andy Shinn from Easy Repair Hotline, and we are talking today about his company and things that he's using in his company, technology that's making his job easier. Remember, the Systems Conference is at the end of January. I think it's January 23rd through 26th. We have only 40 spots left. It is going to sell out very soon. So if you haven't got your tickets, get your tickets. But Systems Conference is coming up. Andy, so we've known each other for a while, and you've been to multiple Systems Conference. Can you just tell us a little bit about what your company does and a little bit about your company?
Yeah, you bet. Thanks, Paul. So Easy Repair Hotline coordinates maintenance and takes after-hour maintenance calls for property managers. I was a property manager. My wife and I founded a property management company after I had a longer corporate career. And one of the things we recognized was the need for maintenance coordination services and after-hour services that really didn't exist like that. So that's back in 2015. So I sold my company to start Easy Repair Hotline, and that's what we do.
That's great. I mean, I know that maintenance is probably one of the reasons people lose the most doors. Lack of maintenance response, lack of, people answering the phones. I always say that there's half the property management companies out there that you can never get a hold of them. And, because they don't answer their phones, and if they don't answer their phones for maintenance, that could cause some serious damage and problems. And I know when you have like 100 doors, you never have any time off. Like if you have 100 doors and you don't have other employees and you don't have anyone, you're always answering that phone every weekend. Oh, there's this leak, there's this. So I know that can really be the reason why people want to get out of property management. Property management is a wonderful thing if you get the right help and the right people with you.
Yeah, that work-life balance, Paul, is what we started the company for. So as we went, we figured out, there's better ways to coordinate maintenance than what we were doing before. And so we learned that, and we instituted those things with Easy Repair. But we're really kicked off Easy Repair was that work-life balance. We're trying to start a company, and how can you do that when you have to have your cell phone on all the time? Can't even go to the movies without worrying about an emergency call is going to come in. You got to solve that problem, number one.
So my question is, do you guys work with multiple different types of softwares, or do you just have your own that people have to change? How does that work? If I'm with AppFolio or I'm with Buildium, how does Easy Repair Hotline work?
We're going to work with your software. Yeah, so we work directly in your software. We've done that from day one, and we really want to be flexible so that you don't have to change a lot for us to come in and start either taking your after-hour calls or all the way up to being your maintenance coordinator for you. And we're just going to work directly in your software. We've got some cool technology that helps us do that. I'll probably talk about today, Paul.
What softwares do you guys currently work in? Right
now?
Anything
that's cloud-based. So the primary ones are Property Meld and AppFolio and PropertyWare and Buildium. But we've also got Rent Tech and Rent Manager and some other some of the smaller softwares as well.
Awesome. So you guys are well versed. I
didn't mention RentVine, which obviously we've got a lot of RentVine.
Okay. So RentVine, the up and coming one that's a lot of people that go on. So great. So you have a lot of different softwares. You guys work with the people's software and does that. What is a software in your company that's just like a staple software that you need every day for you and your people to get their job done?
Yeah, Paul, I'd go to Zapier, and because this is really something we brought from the Systems Conference, so I'll tell you a little bit how we use it. There's 100 ways we use Zapier, but I'll talk about one in specific. So we do work with all those softwares, and that makes it difficult. We started that from day one, and we're literally logging into softwares to see if somebody's got a work order on their company, and we're having to do that all day long. And it was just what we've been able to do with Zapier, which we learned a lot about at our first Systems Conference. We've been able to take all of that incoming work order volume that looks a lot different when it comes from Buildium than it does from AppFolio or from Property Meld. We're able to take that into Zapier and create a structured set of data so it looks the exact same no matter where the work order is coming from. And then our system is able to read that. So for our system to try and read all of these different softwares and different formats, and sometimes there's information on the work order that's not relevant, doesn't need to know, we're able to bring all of those work orders into Zapier. Zapier is able to create a format for them using both Zapier's formatting tool as well as using AI to really create a standard work order that our system can read 100% every time. And that's from the address and the property management company and the software link and everything that goes into there to the issue, to the recommended priority of the issue. All of that stuff is done before our system even sees it, and it's just done in a matter of seconds.
And that's really interesting because otherwise you would have to train your staff in 10 different softwares. You'd have to change them in AppFolio, or you'd have to have one staff member be on AppFolio, another one be on Property Meld, another one be on RentVine. Now you could have your staff trained in the way you do things, and everything comes in, and then everything goes back, I assume, from Zapier back into their software. And so it makes it so that you have a process that's consistent no matter what your client uses. Is that correct?
That's exactly right. Yeah. So some of the things we still have to get into the software to do. So there's still the training, and somebody has to know how to do that. But all the front end stuff, it is totally agnostic. It doesn't matter what software is coming in from. It looks the exact same to our system. And then our system's able to put it in front of a dispatcher where it looks the exact same to that dispatcher. So it's very easy, and it takes a lot of the tedious work that we had before on the front end of work orders. But what we're doing now, Paul, is that's not fully implemented, but we're doing exactly what you said. We're getting to the point where we don't even need to necessarily do all those intricate tasks within each software. So that's step two. But right now we've got the front end figured out really well, and Zapier has been just an amazing tool to do that.
What is your favorite of all those? Because you're in a lot of different softwares, and I get the maintenance question all the time. And maybe you can't answer this because it might make one company mad or not. But what do you find is the easiest maintenance software that you guys get to work inside of?
Yeah, I can totally answer this. Property Meld is amazing, Paul, because our system works with Meld. I love that. It talks to Meld, and we have a great relationship with the team at Meld. But when you look at what they're doing with workflows and automation, it's pretty amazing stuff. So
you guys in Property Meld, it's just like the perfect blend of making a smooth transition on maintenance.
Yeah, we're getting to the point where, we're going to be able to take you very close to, a product that's 100% automated. We have on our site right now less than half price of what we used to charge for Repair Hotline for Meld customers, because that's how much automation we've been able to build. So if you're with Property Meld, you're paying less than half price because of what we've been able to do with Meld, and we're working on the same automation with the other softwares. AppFolio is going to be next, and we're going to be able to really bring those efficiencies to our customers to make our product a lot more, not just affordable, but to make it a lot more consistent. Because when you've got this kind of automation built in, everything's done the same way every time, and that makes for a very happy tenant, which makes for a very happy property manager.
And I'm going to talk a little bit about what you're talking about at the conference, because I know this was last year. This was not last year, it was September of a year and a half ago. You were sitting in a room with Wolfgang, and he was talking about Zapier, and something he said, you're like, oh my gosh, if we just do this, we can just change this. And you actually completed that Zapier change at my conference, correct? Like you actually did the work while you were there, while you were sitting in that room.
We did, and we already had a Zapier account, and we had a couple Zaps, but we didn't really know how to use it. Like Zap was a fun tool to play with, but we didn't know how it was really going to improve our business. And I was hearing Wolfgang talk about it. It just triggered, like probably 100 things triggered in my mind. Oh my gosh, we can do all of this. So we took one of those things, which I think was kind of our first cut at data formatting, and we were able to make a change right there at the conference that helped us out. But it was coming out of the conference a few months later that we really changed our process in large part with what we could do from what we learned from the systems conference.
That's awesome. And what is a hidden gem software? Something that maybe we've never heard of, or something that's you use at a random once in a while software?
Yeah, I'll tell you about a calendar software called Motion AI. And what it does is it uses AI to schedule your tasks, and again, you get a link it to Zapier to make it really worthwhile. But so let's say I've got a Trello project going, right? And I've got some dates coming up on the Trello project. What we're able to do with Motion and with Zapier, making these programs talk to each other, is that task will go in to Motion and say, hey, this needs to be done by Friday. Pick a good time on Andy's calendar. to schedule that task, and they might schedule it today, this afternoon, because I don't have much going on, or it might schedule it Friday morning, but it's going to get it scheduled before the deadline. And then you can take those tasks and you can customize them. Maybe I need a 2-hour block because I just really got to work on something, and I'm thinking this week, how am I going to get 2 hours this week? Throw it into Motion. Motion will move things around if it needs to, and move other tasks around, but it'll find me a 2-hour block by the deadline it gives us. So it's been really useful. I think Motion on its own would be fine, but to be able to link it to whatever project software you're using with Zapier makes it kind of a game changer for my personal scheduling.
What project software do you use?
We use Trello.
What, Trello?
Trello, yeah.
Okay, so yeah, I'm very okay. So great. That is some really cool things. So Andy, this is your 4th or 3rd conference that you'll be at.
3rd one, and I didn't get in from the start, but it's really exciting to go. As a sponsor, it's exciting, but honestly, it's probably more exciting because I'm trying to think, what am I going to learn and pick up at the conference? So really exciting.
Well, we love having you there, and it's been awesome having you there. And it's so exciting when a vendor gets stuff out of the conference besides just getting business. Like when you're like, oh my gosh, it's helping my business. I'm changing this. That just makes me happy. So if you haven't been to the systems conference, understand every vendor, every person that there's no vendor room. There's no room where the vendors are locked up in and can't be out. The vendors are out there with you, helping you, working with you, and sometimes asking you questions that might help their business. So it's a big, small group with a lot of people, with not a lot of people, but it's a small group setting because there's never more than 25 people per room. But everything is all about asking questions and getting help. And people like Andy and every other vendor there, you have a question about anything, they're like, oh, well, this is how I use Zapier. This is how I use that. So Andy will be happy to talk to you about his company, about Zapier, about, was it Motion?
Motion, sure, yeah.
Motion, any of those things. He'll be happy to talk to you about those and helping you implement them. So that's the great thing about this conference. It's about building those relationships. So we are so happy to have you, Andy, again. We have a great company. You do some great stuff out there, and you're making maintenance easier for people. And that's really important because that's where I think a lot of people are falling, or they're just getting so burnt down on property management because they're trying to do it on the weekends and everywhere else. And you have full days, you have after hours, you have all those different packages, correct?
Yeah, we can do your calls all the time. We can do your calls after hours, or we can do all of your intake calls, online requests, and everything for you.
So there's lots of different ways to do that. Andy will be there at the Systems Conference. If you have not signed up yet, we only have 40 spots left. So sign up now, get your tickets now. And I believe it's Easy Repair Rocks is your $100 off with a capital E. I believe that's your code, correct?
That's right. And I think it's Easy Rocks.
Easy Rocks? It's Easy Rocks. Yeah. Okay. Easy Rocks. Easy Rocks. It'll be printed on the bottom when we're talking. It's down there if you're looking on the video. It's a capital EZ Rocks and $100 off. Definitely use that code and sign up for the conference.
Absolutely.